Yay! We are live. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm just going to check just to make sure that we are. I'm sure we are, but let me just check.
Bottom has arrived.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are live.
Fabulous. Let
me just get everything back up. So, if you are watching, please send us a comment. Let us know that you're watching. There's our tractor going past now. If you're watching, send us a hello, send us a thumbs up. Keep pressing that. Send us ice. We need ice today.
Seriously, I put 3 cubes in my little drinky before I came to air. They've all gone.
I know. I've got my You just need.
Oh, we've got people.
Hi, Jill. Hi, Jan.
Can you see that? Okay, ladies, because something's new with StreamYard, and
hi, Sharon.
You can see them all. Oh, fantastic!
Hello.
Hi, Sharon. Oh, Sharon, how hot is it in Tucson?
Yeah,
let's just moaning that we're hot. It's 31 degrees where I am.
It's 32 degrees in this room.
I don't know how hot it is in here. About 25.
Gillian, Isabel, Marjorie, hello guys. Lovely to have you
here.
You're
okay.
Over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, Sharon.
Oh my goodness, Sharon.
So if it's over 100 degrees, I want a cold pool and somebody to bring me icy drinks.
Yes.
Well, that's
lie down.
When you've got a pool and an icy drink by the side of you, you really do feel so much better, don't you? Because you can just cool down,
relax.
Most definitely.
Yeah, been lovely. Hi everyone. Oh, there's lots of you in. Oh, fantastic. I don't know where. I think I can see that some of you are watching from Jem's and Katie's, because I can see the little link symbol there. So I hope everybody can hear us and see us okay. And thank you for joining us for our second I.C.E Social.
We made it to the second one.
I know. And I was like, oh my goodness, what? It's come round so fast. That's what my goodness me. And we've already got challenges for the next one. We're already sorted for the next one.
Sorted for the next one.
Oh, Sandra says,
we've done our challenge for this one as well, so I can't wait to show everybody.
Yes, we have got. Jem's challenged us. And I've left my little ducks over there. I was going to bring them. But you got your little ducks.
Hey.
My little ducks are over with my pig.
I was going to make them into earrings, but I didn't want to drill into the heads.
You can drill them if you want, my love.
Sure?
It's all good.
I was going to make some duck earrings.
So while we're waiting for everybody to come in, why don't you put in the comments your hacks to keep cool when it's hot? Has anybody got any hacks? Because I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Do you know the man from BBC Weather, Thomas Schaffernacker?
Oh, yeah.
That's his name.
Well done.
That's his name. He said to put your fan, if it's cooler outside than it is in your house, put your fan in an open window facing outwards, and it sucks in the cool air and chucks it into your head.
Yeah. No, there is no cool air in Yorkshire. There's no cool anywhere.
Hazel says move to Scotland. It's warm. Bless you.
You got a spare room.
But my friend Lyndon, she said the same. She's like, just come up here to Northumberland. She could just be grumpy and cold with me. I was like, that is my ideal.
Hello,
hi everyone.
That's a good one. Iced tea.
Make an exhaust fan.
I latte this morning.
Oh, an iced tea. Do you know, my mum always has a hot cup of tea, and she says it cools you down, and I think she's crackers. But everybody say it.
In the Indian subcontinent, they will have hot drinks to stay cool.
Really?
Yep. And I had a hot cup of tea today, and I felt better after it. Like not normal person tea. It was strawberry and cucumber or something.
Oh no, I can't think of anything worse. Lashings of iced tea, warm and wet. Yeah, so I suppose as well when it's warmer, it's really muggy, and you need like a thunderstorm to clear the air. That's what you need when it's like muggy like that. Can we see Katie's necklace closer? Of course you can.
Oh, it's one. I thought I'd put this on because it's like ice, isn't it? But
It's beautiful.
see if I can. Yeah. There we go. It's one of my crochet necklaces. It's all clear quartz. Nice and cool. And the video, the full tutorial for this is on my YouTube channel.
Excellent.
There you go. Once you finish watching us, head over to Katie's and you can see how to make, it's crocheted, isn't it, Katie?
Crocheted.
On monofilament? Is it on
Monofilament, yes. Yes, and then it's just you wire at the ends and it's so cool.
So nice.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, that was quite nice to take it off and then put it back on and it's like
put it back on. I follow a lady called Katie Brindle and I love her and I buy a lot of her tools, and she has a crystal eye mask which is all double drilled squares of clear quartz all woven together, and it just goes over your eyes and it looks amazing. My hack, Sherry saying my hack is an ice cold soda between the girls. A bit risque, but it works quickly. Very good. Like that.
Especially if it's still in the tin.
Yes. Hot tea works. I go to an office with aircon. Oh, Isabel, aircon.
Nice.
The only thing with aircon is it really makes my throat hurt. I suffer with my
it can really
eyes out my throat. Yeah. I take too long to drink my drinks, so they're never hot. Malcolm, a huge cup of tea with.
Sorry, can I just say, we've got Liz watching and she can't find where to type in the live chat. Obviously, we're looking at a different screen.
Right.
It should just pop up, shouldn't it?
Let me bring it up on mine and then I can show.
Yeah, because I can't see the actual setup at the moment. So,
yeah. Just turn
Lynn
this down.
says, I've got one of those cool pads for our Lily, the dog. When she isn't using it, I do. Relatable.
I've just bought.
I'm just on Jem at the minute. Ooh,
yeah.
There. And can you see here? It says live chat, and just here,
just underneath the live chat. So
yeah.
Hopefully, Liz, obviously you can hear us. So hopefully you'll be able to.
Even if I go to the large one, let me see. Right, hang on. I found it on the large. There we go. Right, okay, I've got you, Liz. So if you've got it like this, along the bottom here, there's some buttons. She's got it. Right, yeah, brilliant. Yeah. That's all right then.
Just looking at these comments, Turtle Dove, it's 2:07 a.m. there. Did you get up especially to watch us?
Goodness gracious, where are you?
Yes, but let us know when you are.
Australasia?
Maybe, yeah.
Could be
over.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
that's so lovely of you.
Bless you. You got one of those cool pads for our yes, Dolly likes her cool pad, but dogs, honestly, my dog goes and lies in the garden in this heat, and I'm like, Dolly, she's black in the window. Yeah, no, it must be crazy. Western Australia. Oh, amazing. I bet it's nice and cool at this time of night though. Right, ladies, so let's have a little chat about what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah.
So we do, believe it or not, we've got a running order.
Yeah,
we're not winging it. We have a running order. Okay, so obviously our name is I.C.E Social and it stands for Inspire, Create and Educate. So what we like to do is try and split it up into 3 sections. So we talk about inspiration. It could be a designer. It could be a piece of jewellery. It could be, like we're going to talk about today, trends at the minute because Glastonbury's just been on. I don't know if anybody's watched, but they've been decked from head to toe in pearls and beaded necklaces.
Yeah, beads,
pearls.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do our create bit, which is where the wonderful Jem has challenged us. So it could be a challenge and create. So Jem sent us some gemstones and asked us to create something with it. So we're going to show you what we've made. And then I think Jem's video of how she made hers is coming out tomorrow
at 7 on YouTube.
Yeah, Katie,
I've got lots of videos to film this week, but at the moment it's just too hot. So it'll be a few days, but then by the end of the week, you will get those videos.
And mine will be coming up, the technique, in a relax and craft box.
Woo! Excellent.
So yeah, within the next like 4 or 5 months. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to do the education bit. So there is these two ladies here, Jem and Katie, are wirework queens, and they absolutely can do anything with wire. There's no holds barred with wire, but a lot of people, especially we've got people watching from Australia, we've got people watching from America. There is lots of different ways of saying the same gauge of wire, and it gets very confusing very quickly. And then you chuck in chainmail and it gets even more confusing and more. So we're just here to myth bust everything and tell you what each wire does, what gauge it is, what it is in American wire gauge, and what it would be in a British wire gauge as well, or what we know as millimeters. So that's how it's going to go. If you've got any questions, or you need to know how to make something or do something, or you've got problems making a piece of jewelry, let us know in the chat, and we'll either, if we don't get through it today, we'll add it onto the next month's list. Is that okay, ladies?
Yep. Or if we don't get through it today, you can pop it in the Facebook group, the I.C.E Social Facebook group, and we can get back to you there as well.
Yes. Oh, Sharon was wondering what the ICE meant. Yes, so it's inspire, create, and educate.
Also keep your drinks cold this time of the year.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. So I think the first thing we need to speak about is, like I say, if you've not watched Glastonbury, or you're not into sort of like watching the TV, then this may be a little bit sort of like over your head, but I can't take my eyes off of people's jewelry wherever I am. So I've just come back off holiday, and all I do is jewelry watch. I watch what people are wearing. I admire what they've got, like colours, that kind of thing. Yeah. So whenever we were watching Glastonbury, there's just everywhere pearls. Yeah. And I found an article on Net-a-Porter was saying about pearls, and just saying how they're on clothes, they're everywhere. So whether they are faux pearls or real pearls, they are literally everywhere. Have you seen them as well, ladies? Have you seen?
I've seen them. I was spying a little bit today at Wimbledon, near the crowd, and there were pearls in the crowd there. No, I just think they're an iconic thing to wear. Yeah. But I think the way that people wear them now, and they layer them up and everything, and it's just put a whole new twist on pearls for me. Yeah. Definitely, rather than just the strung pearls.
Yeah. So things come in and out of fashion all the time. And I have a bit of a theory about why pearls came back like they did. In the 80s, the only people that wore pearls were the Queen and Margaret Thatcher. And nobody wanted to look like the Queen or Margaret Thatcher because they were all twin set and pearls, and everybody thought they're old lady-ish and they didn't want to wear them. And then all of a sudden, with things like The Apprentice that came on like 15, 20 years ago, like in the early 2000s, when they saw business women with pearls, and it showed that they were wealthy and it showed that they were powerful. And I think that
strength thing, wasn't it? That power, strength, it put a whole new dimension on something like wearing pearls.
It's only been 100 years since the technique to culture pearls came about on an industrial level. Yeah. So over the last 1,000 years, the monarchy all over Europe has been festooning themselves in pearls. And I don't know if you had a chance to look at any of the crowns and tiaras that I am actually obsessed with, obviously. But I posted a couple of images of some of my favourite crowns and tiaras earlier on in the week. And there was one crown which was really, really beautiful because it had interchangeable massive emerald drops or huge pearls. And those pearls date from before the cultured pearl industry actually started out. So they would have been such massive status symbols. And somebody just commented a moment ago that Rod Stewart had a string of pearls on. There's a couple of gentlemen that come into the shop where I work. It's a refill shop. We sell everything that you would normally buy in a plastic bag, and we sell it loose. It's great. You should come and do it. But there's two guys that come in and they both have the most exotic pearl necklaces on. And it's just really lovely to see that they are accessible, they are on trend.
Yeah, and I think Harry Styles quite famously wears huge big pearls. And the guy that's just finished being Doctor Who, that beautiful man, I can't remember his name. But yeah, he's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, he wears a lot of pearls. But it's not just strong pearls. There's a lot. I see a lot of like what I call like boho sea inspired jewelry, where they just got a few little dangles of pearls, so just like the odd pearl on a chain.
Pearls, yeah,
and then layering them up.
Seed pearls just on a really long string. I think that looks so pretty. Just really, really dainty, and then wrapping them around your wrist and making those big things like that. Yeah.
And go back to what Jem was saying about like being cultured pearls. Do you know we've been able to make faux pearls for longer than we've been able to colour pearls? So colouring pearls only came around in the 1920s, where we actually were able to colour it.
With a really good point that sort of back then it was just kind of round pearls, potato pearls, but now they can make pearls in any shape. The stick pearls, you can get crosses, you can get hexagons, any sort of shape. So
lots. They're very clever, and what they're doing as well now is they're hybriding mollusks. So a lot of people think that pearls only come from oysters. Well, they don't. Your pearls probably have come from a Mississippi mud mollusk, which is one of those great big mollusks that can house 50 pearls on one side and 50 pearls on the other, and they're cultured like that. The only pearls really that come from oysters now are your Tahitian, your South Sea, and your Akoya. All hinged mollusks can make a pearl, so snails can make a pearl as well. I didn't realise. Abalone can make pearls, and abalone and conch, and there's another one I can't remember. Sea of Cortez are some of the most rarest pearls, because with the abalone you can literally just find them, and they are the beautiful blue that's on the inside of an abalone shell, but you only find them in nature because you can't culture them. Because, fun fact, did you know that abalone don't have a blood clotting agent? There's no blood coagulant, so they can't remove it to culture another one. So yeah, there you go. So pearls are everywhere, and we're in the festival season, so we always bring back the good old faithful boho look. We always have the lovely boho look, and it's just layers. But there was one look that I found which I thought was really interesting, and it goes back. Somebody was saying about the 1920s, and this I think is a nod to the 1920s, wearing necklaces backwards. So Sabrina Carpenter is very famous for hoiking a necklace around and chucking it down the back. So she's got her pendant on her back. And can you all remember that was it a J'adore advert with Nicole Kidman? She at the back, and it all came down the back.
Old and beautiful.
Yeah, and 1920s did have backless dresses, didn't they? They were all lovely backless dresses. So that's another way. So if you've got somebody that says, I can't wear a pendant down the front because my chest's too big, or I've got the wrong, tell them just to whip it around the back.
Whip it around the back.
Whip it round the back. Just having a look at the chat. I can't see it on the little thing because mine's really small.
One of the books in Fleur's book club was about pearls. It was. I loved that book.
Yes,
really
you did
like that book. Yeah.
I'll get back onto book club.
We will. We'll get there.
Some of the suggestions that have been in our chat this week. Those are the books for book club.
What, sorry?
The private chat book club suggestions.
They were all very, very rude. Very rude.
They were along the lines of when they get people reading the funny children's books.
Yeah.
So, I'm just having a look, making sure that. So yeah, beaded jewelry is always comes around, and I think the reason why beaded jewelry becomes more accessible in the summer is because we wear a lot more colour in the summer.
Yeah,
and you can go to town with all your beautiful gemstones, or your resin beads, your glass beads, wooden beads. But although I love jewelry trends, and I love you baking, Jem.
I tried to put the fan away. I can't. It's got to sit there. I hope it's not too noisy.
It's fine. It's fine. That's it. Get in the fan. But I think fashion trends, like I say, they do come around, but we do, as jewellery makers, we are able to have a nod to those trends as well. So that's why we're going to talk about the trends, is that you can sort of like say, you know, well, these are very on trend at the minute. You know, we have the fidget. Last year it was the fidget jewellery, wasn't it?
Fidget jewellery last year. Also, beaded jewellery is very sort of in this year. And a few weeks ago, I did it's so hard to randomly thread beads. So I just poured them in and literally randomly thread them and tried not to look. And I've seen a lot like that, especially on the high street, just different colours, not things you'd normally put together. And I think that is quite a big thing at the moment. Yeah. Just going sort of a little bit crazy with your beads. Just don't worry about it. Yeah, a bit more. It's kind of boho as well, isn't it?
The one that I saw a lot in Athens and in some of the Greek islands was seed bead jewellery, big fringes of seed beads and fringe earrings. That thing, absolutely beautiful, because accessible, aren't they, Jem? You know, you can go and get colours and match your colours to your dress, and it's quite relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, 100%. I did some fringed earrings a couple of months ago, and it's on bars or on head pins. Really easy technique on a triangular piece of wire. Pretty much, if you've got fingers, you can make this design. But as Fleur says, it's so inexpensive because they were just seed beads, and you get thousands of them in a wee tube for a £5. And I did them in red and gold, and it was just I love the colour combination.
These are coming up on with a YouTube video this week.
I was making a kind of
lovely.
We are on trend. That's got the
on trend. We are trending. I've never been trendy in my life.
I've never trended for anything either.
I'm not a trendy person. So although it's it can be like people say, oh, I don't follow trends or anything like that. If you sell your jewellery or you're gifting your jewellery, it's always good to sort of like just watch what people are wearing. Just go and have a little look and see what's on the high street, and you'll be amazed. I went to M&S and there was a faux pearl necklace there, and it was £45, and it would have had a base metal chain. It had a little tiny extender chain on it, but £45. Now we could make a real one or a faux one for less than that, a lot less than that. Loved those. I wore mine in December box. Yes, they are, Jill. They're absolutely gorgeous. It's called Shaggy Loops, that chainmail weave.
Yeah.
Who knew? So always, if you do sort of like to sell your jewellery or sort of like make things that are on trend, just have a watch of the telly and just see what people are wearing.
This next couple of weeks, trust me, watch Wimbledon. There is some amazing people in the crowd. And the jewellery that they're wearing is going to be amazing. Somebody mentioned earlier about watching period dramas. Now, I love to do that. Watch the period dramas, recreate that style. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. And there's a place for every style.
There really is. One of our lovely friends a couple of years ago suggested I watch a show called Reign. Reign. And it's kind of set in the French regal situation, and the tiaras and crowns that were in it were utterly ridiculous. So I then spent about 6 months making crowns. As one
they are beautiful though.
We won the Empress on Netflix. That's got some amazing jewelry. That's like
write this down. Hold on, the Empress. Right,
watch that.
Right, I think we should move on a little bit and have a look at our challenges.
Yes.
What do you think?
So I can show you the type of beads that I sent out to Fleur and to Katie and to myself.
Great place.
So if I flip the camera, you can have a look at what I sent out, and then you can have a look at what each of us made. There we go.
I'm going to flip my camera around one side. I'm just going to turn my camera off and then I'll flip it around.
Yeah, I can't flip my camera today for some reason.
It's being wicked, that's why.
Yeah, it's the gremlins. They're not playing with me today.
So I sent out, I think there were 8 in total, rose quartz, and they were 8mm round beads. And then I sent out some just shy of an inch, I think they were. Yeah, this one is actually 25mm, but they were around that. And I sent out each 2 of these faceted pad beads. So they're really very, very soft facet junctions on those. But Prehnite is a gemstone that I absolutely adore. It's got a beautiful, delicate apple green colour. And if you imagine that a green quartz or even a cloudy prasiolite had a baby with rutile quartz, that's what you would end up with. So if you've never heard of or seen Prehnite, that's kind of what it looks like. Sometimes it's a little bit more creamy, sometimes it's a little bit more clear. But these are side drilled, so they're drilled through across the shorter side, which is a little bit more unusual for pad style gemstone beads. And I've had these around for a while, so I thought this would be an interesting combination, not least of which, because if you think about colour theory, your green and your pink always work well. So a green and a purple or a green and a pink, that combination is absolutely divine. So I haven't seen what the girls have made.
Nope.
And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what each of them have made before I show you what I did.
Right. So who's going to show theirs first?
Katie, do you want to go first?
I will go first. So I'm really sorry I can't flip my camera today.
It's not a problem, love. Forget it.
I gave myself a challenge in a challenge. So I decided I'd taken a look at these and I decided to give myself 1 gauge of wire. So just to make it a little bit harder. So, but I actually made 3 pieces of jewellery. So this is the first piece of jewellery. I kept them really simple, really kind of basic makes, but I've just got a simple ring. So I've got that gorgeous, beautiful rose quartz, and it's an adjustable ring. So you can see
fabulous.
Adjustable. So, you know, and it's literally just wrapping around your ring mandrel or something similar. So really, really nice and easy. I use 1mm wire, which the gauge is what? Jem?
18.
18, yeah. And everything else is done with the same wire. So the next thing I made a little bangle. So this is one of those kind of adjustable ones. The ones are kind of springy bit. Yeah. So there is a tutorial on my YouTube for this type of bangle, and I like this because it's a little bit like I was saying about the fidget jewelry. You can play around with these. So that used 5. This is 1. So I had 2 of those beads left, and I had my beautiful Prehnite. Now, apart from the ear wires, which are not 1mm, because that's not going to go through your ear. So I made some earrings. So still 1mm wire, using 1 length of wire for the whole thing, taking that through. Beautiful. Yeah, so and
gorgeous.
Then I've got nice even wraps at either side of my bead on the top. I'll show you.
What are your? Oh right, so your ear wires are round as well.
Yeah, so I made my own ear wire. So
they're really nice.
Yeah, so that's actually on my YouTube as well, is the ear wire. But just taking the wire through and then making that design on the front of it and then making the other one. That's sometimes the hardest thing with earrings, sort of making the match.
You know what?
Each other.
We had a question about that in the I.C.E Social group.
Right.
So if you can hold them there for a minute, you'll notice that Katie has taken pains to absolutely mirror them.
Yeah.
And what I would say is when you do that, make them side by side. Don't make one and make the other one.
Absolutely.
So you want to talk about your designs, my lovely. It's just something that was asked about. So go for it.
Definitely. With all earrings, make them side by side. So even the way that I wrapped it round when it came to making these wraps at the bottom. I knew one needed to be one way, one needed to be the other, so that I would get that diagonal across that 8mm bead and then straight into the next lot of wraps. So yeah, definitely keeping everything symmetrical. At the back, obviously you're not going to see any wire, but you get that beauty of the gemstone from the back. But I really enjoyed making them, and I think
Ace.
they look gorgeous. I really like them. So thank you for that challenge, Jem. I really enjoyed it, and I will do a little demo on these. In fact, I'll probably just go through all 3 things that I did, and I'll pop a little video on by the end of this week, if that's okay.
Don't rush yourself. I know it's hot.
It's very hot.
But Liz has said she will make crowns for next I.C.E Social. Yes.
Yes.
And if you really struggle, grab yourself some zip ties and make one of them.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Oh,
That is amazing. Oh,
It's a standard headband, just with zip ties on it, cut at funny angles.
that's amazing.
There we go. And look, it's pearls.
Ah, you've got a tiara as well.
Oh, I'm going to be jealous now.
And I'm like the ugly sister that hadn't got one.
Don't be silly.
Oh, just stick some on your head, you'll be right.
I've got a wreath. I'll stick my wreath on the
Put
head.
it on your head, love.
That'll be grand. Right, who wants to go next?
Okay.
Next time.
So shall I show you what I made?
Yes, please.
Let me just move that out of the way so it
You
doesn't.
look like the Statue of Liberty, Jem, Sharon said. Brilliant.
You do look like the Statue of Liberty.
Is a pint of water okay instead? I feel
Yes.
like a pint of water is more relevant today than a torch. Oh,
Right.
that's so beautiful. Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little. Let me just see if I can. How do I zoom in on this? Oh, hang on.
Move it closer.
There we go. Please ignore the fact if you hear like what sounds like angry bees outside. It's not. It's my sons on their motorbikes. So I made this first, and this is Viking knit that I have squashed flat and used as a bezel wire. So I too was like, how can I? Because these are side drilled, which just makes your life so much easier, because usually you'd want it that way around, but it was just so nice to have the width of this piece and be able to see it as a feature.
You've actually created a whole different shape as well, haven't you? It's beautiful.
Yeah. What's Jem just had?
You said width and I laughed because I'm a child.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. This, you get a lot more width to this one. So what I did is I made my small piece of Viking knit, and with Viking knit, if you've ever done Viking knit before, you don't have to worry about it being nice and neat. You're going to draw it through a draw plate. When you're doing it when it's flat, the only thing that you need to remember is when you add the wire, if you run out of wire, just add it onto the same row, the same column, and then it's just nice and neat all the way around. So it literally is just on a really nice wide dowel, just a small section, and then squash it flat. And it then becomes like, can you remember that wire ribbon that we were all subject? Yeah, it's a little bit like that. So you can use it then as a bezel wire, and then because you've got all like your loose bits at the top, all you're going to do then is just cover it. So this is just with a little gizmo coil, as you can see there. So all the end bits are underneath here, and then all I did was put a piece of wire down through the middle to hold everything in place. Now it did hold in place without the wire in there, but I wanted to have the 3 gemstones as well. So that was the first piece that I made, and then of course it's not me without.
Can I just say something?
Go on.
You did wire work.
Well, but I started out as a Viking.
That's wire work.
Well, it's
wire work.
It's more braiding, I think. I think it'd be classed.
Wire in there.
I did a little snail. and I did a little thing, and then I just
fireworks.
And then I just did the just a roll up, and then I just put it on leather because I thought you can then wear it at different lengths, and then because of the Sabrina Carpenter thing, lob it around the back.
Yeah,
wear it down the back. Absolutely amazing. So then I made a little chainmail bracelet because it just reminded me of a watch.
Yeah.
And I just thought it's like a watch style, and because it's a nice heavy piece, it will sit on your wrist really, really nicely. Yeah. So I made this. This weave's called Back to Work, and I thought it was quite apt because I've got to come back to work after going on holiday. Yeah. And again, I was really amazed at the amount of like the gauge of wire that you can get through these. They were really great drill holes in everything.
So I went for the 1 mil because it just went straight through, and I was like, oh, let's just go with 1 mil.
Bonus.
Brilliant. And then the last thing that I made is a new chainmail weave that I will be bringing out as a kit, a tutorial very soon. So this one is called Arcadian, and I've always wanted to do this one when I came back from Greece because obviously an Arcadians they are from ancient Greece, and it is Zeus and Callisto's son is Arcadia. There we go. See, I'm off again. I'm on that mythology tour. I can't help myself.
Rabbit hole now.
I can't help myself. I did make another one as well. There is 2 there. But yeah, so that is what I made with my amazing challenge, and I absolutely love these gemstones. They're just beautiful, and the inclusions are just stunning. So I'm going to pass you over to Jem. Oh,
right,
Jem,
let me switcheroo.
Let me get you on the big screen.
That one. So those were the empty stones, and I kept these ones back so that you were all able to see what we were challenged with. And I made just one piece, and I made a pendant with lots of different gauges.
Wow.
So with this one, I've recorded all of the steps of the way, and I wouldn't normally record in this fashion. I'm usually very planned, and I have a piece that I've already made, and then I will make steps to go along the way, and it's all terribly organized. However, this one, I completely made it on the fly. I had no clue what I was going to do, and I just went for it. So it's all recorded in a massive chaotic video of my journey towards this.
That shows the whole design process, though, doesn't it? So
it absolutely does. So if there's any elements of that you like, you'll be able to find out how to do them. Sorry, I spoke over you, Katie. Many apologies. Sorry. Say it again, love.
No, that's the whole design process, isn't it? So that is exactly what we go through when we're creating something. So you're seeing it sort of done raw. That's all. I think that's brilliant.
Can I just say something? Darling. Can you see a similar? We didn't know what anybody made.
No.
And can you see there's similarities in all 3 pieces? So you've got the scrolls that Katie put on her earrings with the thing. You've got the spiral at the top. You've got the gizmo coiling around the side. We literally, these stones do talk to you, and they obviously. Do. It's all right. I thought you were going to say something. Sorry, Jen. They do, though, don't they? They really talk to you, and they really say, "This is what I want to be."
Hello.
People have all just tuned out because they think that I'm crackers that stones talk to you.
No, that was me. That was me. I did that. So sorry.
Like the kind of leaves coming out of the top. It does look a bit like an apple, doesn't it?
It does. It wasn't at all planned in any way, shape, or form. So excitingly, I hope excitingly, this piece of jewellery is going to be given away.
As ours are as well. So
as ours are
giving. So somebody's like, are we saying 3 different people? Yeah.
Aye. Yeah.
So
now the details of how that's going to work in terms of the shenanigans involved in getting involved, we haven't worked out yet, because obviously
but it will be on the I.C.E Social Facebook page. So you
on the Facebook group,
that Facebook group, and then you will be able to see within the next few days there will be something on there that we can, what's the word?
Give away, promote, I don't know.
Put together a nice giveaway for everybody.
Yeah,
we'll work a way of doing it.
we'll work it out so that everybody has a chance to win the pieces. And we'll go from there. But yeah, we'll definitely put that on the Facebook group. So don't worry, that you will have a chance to win them an earring. Oh, right.
It would be a bit weighty, but there was enough to do it, but I wasn't going to do it twice, because I don't know how I did it now. It's all recorded for posterity. But yes, these will be winning their ways out to our lovely friends on the I.C.E Social group on Facebook. So keep an eye on that. If you're not already a member of that group, it's really easy. Just hop on over to Facey, type in I.C.E Social. And you will find it's very obviously us because we're all over it talking, because we're quite chatty folks, aren't we, Fleur?
And we love everybody chatting to us as well. Keep posting. We love it.
We absolutely do. Jill, yes, I have got more of those rose quartz, and I've just got the one pray night left, but you can have it on your next order with my love. So that can, let me put it in a little tub marked Jill. Hold on.
And can I just say, while we're talking about the Facebook group, it's wonderful if you interact as well. If you could interact with our posts, because it really does help let other people see, because although it's an open group, the more people that can sort of like interact, the more it pushes it out to other people as well. And please share it with your beady friends or your jewellery making friends. It's not a craft group as such, but if people want to learn how to make jewellery and they do other crafts, we would welcome them with open arms.
Absolutely. Whilst we do a lot of jewellery, we do other things as well. And we're really interested in what you guys all do and how you've taken what you've learnt in making jewellery to other crafts as well. Yeah. So I'm a bit pants at things like resin, as Fleur very well knows, but there's lots of talented makers out there. It doesn't necessarily need to be a jewellery specific medium. So yeah, come and join, be crafty with us, and welcome to Norway Gems. Hello from Norway. Hello to you.
Oh, hello, Norway Gems. I'll wave here because I'm not going to turn my camera around because I've got a sheet of paper that I need to put under here now while we talk about the next thing. So that is our create or our challenge section of our little show. Teach me how to make Cartier rings from a nail and hammer and a sapphire, please. I've got the hammer and the sapphire already. You can. You've been over.
Wow.
You do.
Do you know what? Coming up, not tomorrow, but a week tomorrow, there is an exploratory video on my YouTube channel talking about making jewellery from things that aren't jewellery.
Oh.
I've made this. And that was an antique salt spoon.
Oh, wonderful.
So if you're at all interested in watching somebody who is not a silversmith, has zero experience in antique salt spoons, make an absolute chud of themselves, feel free to tune in for that as well.
I'm sure it'd be amazing.
I will be tuning in for that one, definitely. Definitely.
I'm just going to put that one back round the front because I quite like it.
Oh, wait. My son is on, my middle son is on work experience this week, and his work experience let him down, so he's working with me, and he wants to learn how to make a ring with a gemstone set in it. So I did used to do Facebook Lives with like metalsmithing, but Facebook didn't like it.
It's because there's fire.
Because there's fire, yeah. So
there's fire.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to now go on to our educate section, and this is something that I think is so confusing to a lot of people.
Even for us.
Even for us.
Well, me,
and
anyway.
the reason why it's really confusing is because wherever you are in the world, you will know the wire gauges as different things. And so we are going to talk about wire gauges now. And I'm going to leave it up to the ladies to talk to you about different gauges of wire and what you use them for. And then I will be doing a little bit on... oh, I need to zoom back out, don't I? Oh, hang on. There we go. Is that the right way around? Can you see all those numbers the right way around?
The numbers are correct. They're not backwards today.
Correct. Fabulous. So I'm going to be telling you about jump rings and how the different gauges of metal. But what I'm going to do is move that to the side and bring this so that you can all see it.
Fleur, you need to highlight your screen, darling.
Okay. Is that okay for you?
Actually, I don't know whether Jem's got anything prepared, but when it comes to us talking about wire gauge in relation to wire work, I've got quite a lot of examples in front of me, so I can hold up and we can have a look at how things make a difference. Yeah,
definitely. Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
I'm just going to remove my name badge because it's in the way, isn't it?
A little bit.
There we go. We're back on now. Okay.
Fabulous. So you can see that wire can be measured in different gauge numbers or in imperial or metric, which is actually the diameter of the wire. Now, if you get a piece of random wire and you measure it with your vernier, even if you've got a digital vernier, it can be quite tricky. So it's very much worthwhile keeping tabs on your jewellery wires so that you know exactly which one it is you're working with. If I had to work with only 2 gauges of wire, and Katie, I want to know if yours are the same.
Yeah.
If I could only have 2 gauges of wire, I'd have 1 millimeter, which is approximately 18 gauge, and 0.4 millimeter, which is approximately 26 gauge. Now, with those 2 gauges of wire, I'm okay. What about you?
Mine would be, I would be 0.9 millimeter, which is, you tell me. I'm not very good with the American wire gauge. So I would be 0.9 millimeter and 0.315.
So you're lighter and finer than I am, which is no surprise to me. I'm heavy-handed.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit more delicate, maybe. I don't know. But that would be my go-to for some really nice fine wire work. Definitely.
Excellent. Definitely.
So I can show you the difference, though.
That would be amazing.
So, this is one. Yeah. So this has 1 mil on the outer. It is 0.9 in the middle, but then that weaving is your 0.4 millimeter. So you can see the difference there. And also on this one, this has the same wire gauge, but can you see that weaving is so much more finer? And that's just going from the 0.4 down to 0.315. So this particular piece has both wire gauges in it, the weaving wire. So up here, you can see how fine this is and how sort of, it just looks almost machine made, doesn't it, when it's just so fine and close together. So this is your 0.315. And then everything else on here is actually your 0.4. And then I tend to use on these wires at the front here, I know a 1 millimeter would be absolutely fine to use that, but I tend to go for the 0.9 just because of that extra tiny bit of malleability, and I can get those nice curves into exactly where I want it, which is exactly the same what's happened on here. I know I can get them really nice curves, even though, so on this section here, we've got the 0.9 and the 0.4 to weave. So it just gives you all those little tweaks and things that you can make to just make that little bit of difference.
Definitely. So, I mean, where we are the same is that we have a structural wire. For me, 1 millimeter, 18 gauge. For Katie, it's the 0.9, which is 19 gauge. And then we have a finer wire to weave with, which for me, 0.4 or 26 gauge. And for Katie, is just that slightly finer.
We've both got that exact same balance, really, isn't it? It's
yes.
Yes,
indeed.
It's only very slight, but it does make that little bit of a difference.
It does, absolutely. I'm
Look
just
at me pointing.
Looking at you. I'm looking at your numbers.
It's like
I'm like a teacher.
28 gauge is the equivalent. So if you go to the 28 gauge, you've got there, it's showing us 0.32 because the gauges aren't exactly the same. So I will always say approximately. So your 0.315 is approximately the 28 gauge, which is just really one finer.
Lynn, whereabouts are you in the world? Are you UK based or are you somewhere else? Because Liz just asked, where's the best place to buy wire? That all depends on where you are. So if you're UK based, I would say for non-precious metal, wires.co.uk is the best one.
Yep.
If you're looking for precious metal, UK. If you're looking for precious metal, then obviously you've got your Cooks and Gold, your Palmer's Metals. There's quite a few, but yeah, Wires is brilliant, and they will do it in the millimeters as we use in the UK. So you'll probably get, like, it'll probably say 18 gauge on the top if it's your 1mm wire, but it will be what you know the wire gauges are. For all you lovely American ladies and gentlemen, then Rio Grande is brilliant, Fire Mountain is brilliant. There's lots of different places where you can buy your wire from. What I would say is just be very careful if you are buying it from the Far East, that it is what it says it is, and it doesn't have any nasties in it. And by nasties, I mean it doesn't have any lead, cadmium, or nickel in it if you're a UK.
You also find that if you buy something that's called crafting wire and it looks like it's an absolute steal, there's a reason for that, and that commonly is that it has those contaminants that Fleur was just telling you about. But also, in addition to wire gauges, there's such a thing as wire temper, and that is how the metal's been treated in the past. So I've actually got just a couple of pieces. You don't need to put me on big screen. I'm quite happy down here in the corner. I'm really sweaty and disgusting. One of them is a really old, crappy wire with an antique bronze colorway in a 1mm. Now, this wire is hard and brittle. And I've also got a piece of high quality wire from last month's Relax and Craft box, which is a 0.9mm, Katie's favorite. The difference in fluidity is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So this 0.9 is going to work for those beautiful swoops that Katie was showing us, both on the earrings that you made with the 1mm and on your beautiful woven pendant as well. So it's not just about the thickness of the wire. There's also something else called temper, which you can work with. Now, myself, I work predominantly, as much as I possibly can, in raw copper because it has a fluidity, but it also has a propensity for strength. So I do have a pair of earrings that I'm just going to hold up there, which are hammered from raw copper 1.5mm, which is around about 14 gauge. It's 1.6 to 1.5. It's very, very similar in how it reacts. And they were really easy to work into those shapes because it's a raw copper, which has that tendency to want to work for you. For the love of everything in your toolkit, if you buy stainless steel, go finer than you think you'll need.
And don't cut it. And don't cut it with your cutters.
No,
do not
special cutters.
So I have got bolt croppers. These things are industrial tools for cutting chains. That's what I use for my stainless steel wire, because otherwise your poor defenseless professional, either your Zurons or your Beadalon, which is my preferred brand for cutters, they are not going to love you very much.
They'll just damage the blades on them. But I mean, talking about the temper of the wire, so you can buy wire that is, if you're buying like copper wires or precious metal wires, sometimes you see things by the side that say half hard or soft wire. So we're always looking for a soft wire. So the way that wire is made up, if it's like a crystal formation, and I always say it's like cheese, hard cheese. So if you get a block of hard cheese, it's really, really solid and you can't bend it. Pop a little bit of heat on it and all those crystals relax and become malleable. So if you do your cheese on toast, it starts to like get gaps between them, and as soon as you put the cold air back on it, it goes back to solid interlocking crystals. So when we talk about things like annealing metal, that kind of thing, that's with like heat, but you can actually heat and anneal a little bit with the heat of your hands. So sometimes if you find that you've made a mistake, so say you're making Katie's beautiful earrings and your swirl has gone the wrong way to the opposite earring, you can warm that metal back up a little bit in your hands. Now you can't go and heat it, especially if it's a plated metal, because it will just melt the plating off. You can only really anneal raw metals, so metals that don't have any coatings on them. But you can use the heat from your hand, can't you, ladies, to shape
a little bit
form.
Like if you make a ring, I don't know whether you want to bring that up. If you make a ring and you can just, if it's just not quite the right side, you could just warm it up a little bit and just stretch that a little bit around. So, and that's again that 0.9 millimeter that just sweeps around and makes those lovely, lovely curves. And just to note, that is the 0.315 for the weaving. So just things like that, when you're making rings and things, you can use that warmth of your hands just to kind of bring things out and stretch things. Again, the same with that one. That's the same wire gauge. Well, that's actually a 1 mil and a 0.315. There you go.
They're beautiful rings, Katie Parker.
They are very beautiful rings. You may be seeing those again soon.
Oh, tell us more. Tell me about them. I want to know where.
No. Oh, no.
We couldn't tell for security reasons.
No, security.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
You'll see next month, Jem.
You will see next month.
All right then. So Gillian has said Malcolm is playing around with wire writing and is concerned that soft wire will lose its shape. So I have something to talk to you about on that front if I can find the tool. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm working with wire writing is use that slightly smaller gauge, either a 0.8 or a 0.9, which is either a 19 or 20 gauge. And I like to run it through my wire straightener. Now, this little doohickey is absolutely fantastic because not only does it take the kinks out from where it's been stored, not all wire is delivered to you on reels. Sometimes it comes in a spool. And if it's been loaded onto that spool with a little bit of less care than it ought to have been, then sometimes it can get a bit kinky. You know what I mean? So if you take that slightly finer wire, this is a 0.8 20 gauge, and it's got a nasty bend in it. If you run it through that wire straightener tool, what you're doing in effect is the opposite of the gentle annealing that Fleur was just talking to you about. You're actually hardening it a bit because you're running 3 of those. That it's not vinyl, it's the other one, nylon barrels over that wire. You're actually making it just a little bit harder. However, because the wire remains at that size, it's 0.8 20 gauge in this case, you still have the flexibility to make those swoops and swirls. But what you'll see is it reacts completely differently to if you hadn't pre-strengthened it, but you've not hammered it. So it's not brittle yet. You've given it a little bit of extra temper, which in this weather is really easy, you know, to lose your temper, isn't it? So it's well worth warming your wire before you do anything, because before you even start, if you warm your wire first and you do muff it up somehow or another, so you've done your spiral and you've done another spiral, but whoops, you wanted it to go the other way, because you've warmed it, you can undo that second spiral and then you can reform it to go in the opposite direction. So I would never play with the finer gauge wires. So anything really under a 0.4,
yeah,
0.4 and under rather.
Yeah.
If you start doing this to make it look all nice and glossy, it becomes brittle, and what will happen is it will snap. And if we've put 15 hours into a pendant or something, which we sometimes do as jewelers, don't we? You really want that wire to snap because it's really annoying.
Yeah. And also as well, if
weather like this, especially when your hands are really hot, if it's your finer gauge, don't. The minute you see, when you get that little loop, you minute see, just take it back.
Yeah,
that's it. Don't be running your hands down it. Just deal with the bit you're working with. Don't just ignore the rest of it. Definitely.
Yeah. So I'll show you with this wire. What happens is you get that loop, don't you, Katie?
Yeah.
You've got your little loop. Let me put it against my dark top so you can see it.
Just to try and pull it so it's
I have seen so many people go, just pull it, it'll be fine.
Just pull it,
and what happens is it just ruddy snaps because it's not designed to do that.
That is permanent now. That's not coming out. No.
It's never coming out. So if you get your little loop, don't be tempted to pull either way. Just
always got to go back the opposite direction.
Take him over. You can give him one quick run through. Don't fiddle with him, and ideally let that cool down. Genuinely,
absolutely.
I find that makes a huge difference. So just let it sit for a second. When it's calmed itself down, carry on with you doing what you're doing, and you're winding and you're bending and you're not swearing.
Yeah, you're making your jewellery, and you do find, especially your finer gauges, they do get in a bit of a mess. If you've got to stop and sort them out, then just get yourself a little drink or something. Just leave it to calm down for a few minutes, because if you just keep on handling it, you're going to end up with permanent damages in that wire, definitely.
And if you've got like a nylon jaw, your nylon jaw pliers, they also as well will really help to work hard on little bits that you don't want. So I think somebody was talking about the rawhide hammer. The thing with hammering, if you're wire writing, you should never really hammer where your wires cross over, because you will stress that wire too much. And as a non-wire worker, but as a metalsmith, you don't want that to happen. So your nylon jaw pliers are really good. And then also you can get a really good strength on them to actually squash those little crystals down to work hard on them. You don't always have to hammer things. And if you hammer metal onto your wire, you're going to flatten it. So it then starts to act like a different kind of animal. It's going to start to do different things to you. And the more you hammer something, rather than it get tighter, it actually gets bigger, because you're spreading those crystals out. So nylon jaw pliers are great for that kind of scenario.
So what's occurring here? We're talking about hallmarking, which is something that Fleur will be most able to help you about. Fleur has her own hallmark. I've got myself a couple of little books, and the way that you can identify hallmarks certainly in silver, which is really the only metal I know anything about, is you will have an assay office mark. So for instance, Birmingham is an anchor. You will have a letter, and it will either be a lowercase letter or an uppercase letter inside a little cartouche. And dependent on the shape of the cartouche and the style of the letter, depends what year it was crafted. You will also have what's known as the lion passant, which is a walking lion on all fours. And that indicates that the purity is 92.5%, or 925 parts per 1,000 are actual silver. It's often alloyed with other things that I'm sure Fleur's going to tell you about, because she's much more expert than I am. And is it 7.2 grams, 7.6 grams?
It's 7.78 grams is the actual figure that has to be over, and it's not, that would be without any stones present. So the thing with hallmarking is it is a bit of a minefield if you think that you can sort of cheat the system a little bit, because trading standards will be all over it. And one of the biggest cases that in the UK is when Sainsbury's got done by trading standards for selling sterling silver earrings without having a What's it called? What's your thing called? Yeah.
A maker's mark?
No, the sheet of paper. So you have to have it's called your traders, your trading. Oh, somebody will tell me in the comments. I can't remember what it's called. Your merchant, whatever. But it's a piece of paper. Anyway, A4. It has to be A4. And if you sell any sterling silver, it has to be there present when you're selling it, whether it's hallmarked or not. So it cannot be called sterling silver without your your trading piece of paper. It can only be called white metal. So hallmarking is we can actually do a little bit more. A dealer's notice. Thank you, Lynn. There we go.
Well done. Good job. We knew somebody would know.
we can do that in the next one if you want. We can talk about hallmarking because it is.
Bring me spoons.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So with things like spoons, you have to actually, to sell those spoons, you have to get them hallmarked because they've been made they were hallmarked as a spoon and now they need to be hallmarked as jewelry. So you get a beautiful, they're gorgeous. You get a really lovely certificate with them as well. So when you make something out of old pieces of cutlery, you get a really nice certificate. So yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Does a chainmail piece, which is basically a series of jump rings, count as one item for hallmarking? It's the finished piece. So the definition of something that needs to be hallmarked is something that cannot be taken apart without tools. Now this is where there is a loophole for things like stretchy bracelets. Okay, because you don't need tools, you just need a pair of scissors. So when you see all the stretchy bracelet people that do sterling silver and they are over 7.78 grams, you don't need tools to take it apart. So your hallmarking it's for pieces of jewelry that can only be taken apart with your, without your pliers. So if I show you, I'm just going to take this necklace off. So this necklace, can I just put that over there? 1 second. There we go. So the necklace itself weighs about 14 grams, okay? And it is hallmarked. And they can hallmark on a 0.8 wire, so don't worry about it. And then the pendant itself is about 10, 15 grams. So I'm going to take the pendant off. So you can see that I can remove the pendant without... I can't take the pendant off because it's stuck on there. But if you could take the pendant off, that is over 7.78 grams. So both pieces need to be hallmarked because they can be removed. If it was one piece, it's just one hallmark, which they can then put anywhere. But yeah, hallmarking is it is a bit of a minefield, and we can go through it all a little bit more detail if that's okay.
I will just address one quick question, which was the requirement of gold being hallmarked from the UK to elsewhere. Our gold lowest standard is 9 carat. In the US, you have 10 carat gold.
Yeah,
and above. So it's really quite tricky to sell 9 carat gold from the UK to the States. So that's where some hallmarking questions come from.
Yeah, and it has to be hallmarked in the country of origin. Okay, yes. So a lot of countries don't have hallmarking. Europe doesn't have hallmarking. It just has a 925 stamp, and I believe in America there's no hallmarking. But we are we're quite proud of our hallmarking system because it shows that something has been made with the correct what you're selling it as, and that's not to say that all around the world it's not. It's just that we just have this very ancient officers that sort of like hallmark things for us, and people do hallmark even small bits just for the austerity of sort of like keeping your pieces alive. When we've all seen it on Antiques Roadshow, which if you're not from the UK, Antiques Roadshow is a Sunday afternoon program where everybody gets their nan's things out the cupboard and oops, it's worth millions of pounds, and it's probably not. Or they bought it from a car boot.
That was made in Blackpool in 1979.
Yeah, they've got a Ming Dynasty vase from Barnsley Market. And is it worth Can they retire? And then they say no, I'm sorry. No. So that's what it is. But yeah, we'll go through all that, and I'll print off my hallmark so you can see what Jem was talking about, all the different.
I had my bracelet on earlier, which is really annoying because I could think because the
Katie's got
on the
bracelet
outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
So
I've left it in the other room. Sorry.
Yeah. You have that there as well, do you, Sharon? Oh, it's a great show. I love it. I love seeing people's faces when they go, oh, £3,000, and they thought that it was worth like 4.5 million.
It's an original Monet. No.
Right, do we need this again now, ladies? Have you finished with this?
Well,
I think somebody
want you to talk about your jump rings. And
oh gosh, yes, jump rings. Really quickly about jump rings. So, the same as what this is another sort of like little minefield. So we're not going to go into it too much. Because you can see that we've got all different numbers on here. So what I thought I would quickly show you is these are all the same size jump rings, as in they're 5.5 inner diameter. And what inner diameter means is from the inside edge to the inside edge is 5.5 millimeters, but I've made them all on different gauges of wire. And what I wanted to show you is a little bit like what the ladies were showing you with what wire does what, as in, is it a structural wire, is it a weaving wire? How the wire gauge can really make such a difference in the look of a jump ring. So you can see these are all 5.5s, but they look completely different. So if you can see the gap on this one here, the gap in the middle is completely different to this one. You've got more gaps. So with chainmail, what we tend to work with is aspect ratio, and that's all to do with it's a correlation. It's an equation between the inner diameter and the wire diameter. So basically you divide the wire diameter by the inner diameter. But like I say, I'm going to do a whole YouTube video on this so nothing gets confused. But I just wanted to show you what it would look like when they are all together. So I get a lot of questions saying, oh, I love that bracelet, but can I not just buy these jump rings? So if I say I've done a tutorial and it's in this size, and people think, oh, can I just buy the same size jump ring, but in a smaller wire diameter? And you can see that these numbers here are vastly different. And when we put them together, you can see the look is completely different. So it's quite visible how you can see the size difference. So it was just, I just wanted to touch on how you can sort of like stop. I was telling the thing to stop. I was telling, not telling you to stop. How you can get a little bit caught out with chainmail. And with chainmail, it's very, very prevalent in America to have the different wire gauges. So I know Jill was asking about average wire gauge and American wire gauge and standard wire gauge and how they're slightly different. So what some people will say, oh, I've got a tutorial and it's asking me for 18 gauge jump rings, but you can see that there is a huge difference between American wire gauge and our standard wire gauge. Now the standard wire gauge is what we use in the UK, but in actual fact we don't actually use it for jewellery, so only ever think of it as AWG. We very rarely see tutorials or anything like that in SWG, and I believe SWG is more to do with wires that are used in like plumbing, electrics, that kind of thing.
Electronics.
That's what they are, electronics. Yeah. So don't worry about the AWG and the SWG. Just think of it all as AWG. It's all your American wire gauge that we use. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of like show how if you wanted to make a Persian bracelet and we use 5.5 on a 1mm wire, how you can't then use this size because they are, you can see there's not enough gap in the middle. I will do a whole thing. Yes, lovely.
Thank you. So if you were to just go for the same, is it aspect ratio that AR stands for?
Yeah,
okay, so it's the same as what I was thinking. So if you just got a larger jump ring where the aspect ratio was the same, you would then be able to follow the tutorial, would you?
Exactly. Think of aspect ratio as a scale on a map. That's all it is.
Perfect.
So you can get maps that are 1 to 20. You can get maps that are 1 to 50. They show exactly the same thing. They're just in different scales. That's all it is. Think of it as a scale.
I can't read a map no matter what scale it's in. I could get lost in a bag of crisps.
Right, I'm going to switch my camera back around. So I'm just going to turn it off, ladies. I'm just going to remove myself for a minute.
So whilst you're doing that, I'll just talk very, very quickly about SWG, which was the standard wire gauge. And that was less to do with the physical dimension and more to do with the capacity. So how much electricity, for instance, you could shove through it.
Yeah.
So it's something that if you're an electrician, you would need to know about. But we don't ever kind of go into that. All right. So just as Fleur said, AWG is the standard wire gauge for jewellery making in America. And then we just use the metric. We tend not to use the imperial because there's so many numbers. We like to keep it as simple as possible. So I don't need 4 points beyond the decimal.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're all back. We're all back.
We're in different places again. Hello.
I know. I don't know why I'm in a different place, but there we go. There we go. It's fine. It's grand. So yeah, you can see how it does become very confusing, but don't let it like get you confused, if you know what I mean. I always say, have a go with it. If you had no labels on anything and you had a go at wire weaving with a 0.6 and it works for you, crack on. Don't worry about it. Turn that light off. Don't worry about it. Don't let parameters sort of like shroud your judgment.
What works for you, definitely. If you know, I have my workshops and some, you know, I will sort of say we're using a 0.4, but some people will use different ones, and you know, that's what they prefer. It works for them. Everybody works slightly differently. So if it works for you, just go with it. And I always say that in all my workshops. If somebody says, "Oh, I really don't like working with this," just go with what works for you. It's absolutely fine. Absolutely.
Do you know, when I first started making Viking knit, I am one of those people. I'm so curious about everything. I'm one of the ones that presses all the buttons to see what they do. I'm that kind of person. And somebody said, "Oh, you can't Viking knit with a 0.8 wire." Well, you can, because I did it. You can. It's a little bit tough on your hands. You can only do a little bit. It's like if you're chain mailing with like a 1.5, you might only be able to do 20 rings like a day because it hurts your hands, but you can do it. There is no parameters to jewelry, as in like there's no parameters to anything. There's no rules, there's no laws. You can do whatever you want to do.
Oh, most definitely. And with regards to jewelry making ideals, you might like asymmetry, I might like symmetry. You might like clashing colours, I might like contrasting colours. Whatever looks good and feels right for you to wear, that's what you wear.
Absolutely no wrong. Just go with it. See what works for you. If you want to put a giant pendant right up here and somebody, that should be another, you know, should be into something really long. If it works for you, it works for you, doesn't it? It
doesn't matter.
What you feel comfortable with.
And like that.
Like work it, like sometimes like at the weekend I did a wire work workshop where you could work one way or the other way. So you know, it's it just do what feels comfortable in your hands as well. So if you watch a video and you think, I just can't do it like that, try turning it around, try swapping hands, you know, just see what works for you.
Always. I always say, look at it as if nobody's telling you what to do, because if nobody told you what to do and you were a child in a sweet shop or you could paint what you wanted and nobody said, oh, you've got to be this ratio to that and this has to be for that, just go for it. Just go for it. Everything works and you can make it work. If the will to make something is there, you will find a way to make it. And like Norway Jones was saying, can I make a Cartier ring out of a nail and a hammer and a sapphire? Yes, you can. You can.
That reminds me of a video I watched. Gosh, it must be about 12 years ago now. And a guy took a brass nut.
Oh, Paolo. Was it Paolo?
I don't remember. It was so long ago. It could have been. It could have been.
Yeah, it was Paolo.
just machined it into the most beautiful, and it was the archetypical Tiffany setting, Tiffany style setting, and he made it out of a brass nut.
There's a guy called Hannibal who is really like high in the chainmail like community, and he makes nail mail, and he literally gets nails, Rufus nails, and he makes them into rings, and it's like barbed wire. It's the most crazy, amazing thing. And he can only do, I think he says he can do 10 nails a day because his hands hurt much from them. But yeah, there's some amazing things. There's a lady on Instagram which I love to see, and she gets these great big rocks, which can only, they're all raw crystals. I'll try and share her her page in the group, and you just drill straight through them, and she just puts random ones, and they must weigh the size of like a small Shetland pony, but she has a waiting list for them because they are just so cool, and they're just amazing. So let's see. Oh, we've got some new people watching. Hello. Why are we
nail jewellery?
Yeah.
We will be trending.
We will be. Always had to work in the way that works for me, being left-handed. Yes, Liz. You always find a way.
Yeah, Liz
always find
workshops, and I know that I'm right-handed, and I do find it difficult to do things left-handed. And she just does it the other way, and I think she's amazing. She's absolutely fantastic. Just working out her own way to do it.
Yeah. When I learn a chainmail weave, I learn it left-handed and right-handed, and I'll only ever do a tutorial if I know how to do it left-handed, right-handed. Take a ring out the middle of it and put the ring back in, and learn it backwards as well, because I need to be, because if you've got 250 rings that are going into a bracelet, there's 250 problems because they can go in at different angles at every single time.
I just make it as I go and like squidge it a bit.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a wing it.
But yours are more fluid, like natural. You work with stone. So it's a pattern. But like we said before, you don't have to follow the pattern. You can go off piste easily. The only one that you can't go off piste with is resin, because it won't set.
No.
So there is a few little rules that you have to follow, but without that, then you're absolutely grand. Just go for it.
But most of them we break. We like to break the rules, definitely.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Right then, ladies. It's nearly 8:30.
I know. So
have you all enjoyed it?
It is very, very hot in this room now.
Yeah.
It is quite warm. I was just going to say, any tricky subjects or pieces of jewellery that you'd like us to almost treat like a surgery, pop them up over the next couple of weeks, and we'll have a look and see if we can't think of a way to help you out. Any tricky techniques that you think perhaps you'd like to see us demo on the next live, which will be the last Monday of July, which I can tell you the date if I get my app open. 28th of July will be our next I.C.E Social live. So we'll be starting off again at 7 p.m. British time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. I've no idea what time that is in Western Australia, in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. time.
Just after 2, wasn't it? Just after 2, so yeah. Thank you for getting up.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Sharon's got to pop off, but she says, wear your crowns proudly, which I think if we got a t-shirt,
thank you, Sharon.
Social t-shirt would say wear your crowns proudly.
It would.
It would. Definitely would.
What's that? Liz is saying her favourite quote is learn the rules as a pro so you can break them as an artist, by Picasso.
I love that. I love that so much.
I need that written somewhere. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Very good. Right then, ladies, thank you ever so much, everybody, for joining us. And if you are watching on one of somebody else's account, it would be lovely if you could just follow all three of us, and that way then you will be you'll get 3 notifications, but they're not
everybody as well. Just really quickly before we go, I just want to ask you, ladies, what are you up to in the next few weeks?
Go on, Jem.
Oh, sure. Okay. And so tomorrow my tutorial drops, which is less of a tutorial and more of an exploration of how I got to here from the challenge. So that's coming out tomorrow on my YouTube. Next week on my YouTube on the Tuesday, I've got Watch Me Destroy a Spoon, potentially. Who knows how that goes? Monday of next week, it's my Crystal Live. If you're free to join me, it's on Facebook, Jem Hawkes Jewellery. Live at 7 p.m. on the first Monday in July, which I guess must be the 7th.
It is the 7th, yeah.
7th of July, over on Jem Hawkes Jewellery, live crystal sales at 7 p.m. And
Fantastic.
chat and insanity.
Yes,
and buff and more.
Wonderful. And I am doing, I've got a YouTube video coming out on that Shaggy Loops earrings with some little kits and the new chainmail weave, which will be coming out hopefully next week. If I can get it out for the weekend, then I will do. But like I say, I've got an apprentice that I'm having to babysit. So he doesn't hurt himself. And the next box, the next Relax and Craft subscription box is coming out on the 10th, and it's the wonderful Katie Parker who has designed.
If you want to rewind and have a look at this, I'm not going to show you too close up, and maybe this one as well, and then add maybe about another 7 pieces of jewellery and some,
And
are you kidding?
Tools in there as well.
Box?
Yeah, and there's tools. In fact, I've shown you one of the tools tonight.
Yep.
Mm.
Tools in there, so that's what I'm up to. And yeah, Katie, what are you up to?
So, well, I'm going to be the inspiration designer for the July Relax and Craft box, as you've just heard. So,
don't be everybody. Jem is in October,
and I nearly said what Jem had then.
I haven't named it yet. You can't.
No, until I don't know what Jem's got. So yeah. So and then I've got some workshops coming up. I'm in the middle of designing a new earring course. So this that I showed you earlier, that is one of my workshops that is coming up.
Lovely.
I have a workshop at the weekend that's suitable for beginners. That's on little donuts, like making little donut earrings.
Yeah.
And I've got an amazing Animite workshop in August. Don't know whether I've got it here, but this is one of the.
Oh, look at that!
Absolutely gorgeous. So all the details of my workshops are on my website, which you can find on my YouTube page. The link is there. Yeah, and then we've got earring ones coming up. So we've got things like this. So, and that is going to be working. The whole course is going to be working with quite a few different gauges of wire. There's a bit of hammering there, so it's going to be a nice stress reliever as well.
Yay! I love snapping metal.
Wonderful. So we've already got our challenge sorted out for next month. We've got our topic to educate, which is our hallmarking.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but yeah, if you have any things that you struggle with jewelry making, or maybe a gemstone shape that you don't know how to work with, or maybe I don't know, a design that you, or a dress or a suit you've got
something in your head, but you just don't know how to make it into the physical.
A piece of jewelry. Yeah.
So maybe do as a sketch, or whatever you want, and we'll try to help you. And don't forget the challenge little giveaways will be in the social group, the I.C.E Social Facebook group this week.
You've got somebody who wants to sign up. Sandra's going to sign up for the bracelet.
Oh, nice. I've not seen you for ages,
wonderful.
Sandra. No, we need a cat.
Right then, ladies. Thank you ever so much. We're now just puddles. Now we've just melted. So we're going to go and cool down. Jem's going to walk around with a fan in her face like that, like Beyonce moment.
Fan on full blast.
Yeah. But thank you ever so much for everybody that joined in. If you've joined from a different YouTube channel, thanks ever so much for coming and saying hello and watching and asking some fabulous questions as well today.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
It has been wonderful. Go stick your boobs in the freezer. Yes.
Yeah.
what we're going to do. Thanks. Oh, that's okay, Norway, James. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, so we'll see you on the 28th, did we say?
28th of July with another I.C.E Social. Yes.
And keep an eye out on our YouTubes because we'll be dropping lots of tutorials for you.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Right, ladies, thank you ever so much. I'm going to end the live now. Okay, see you later.
Bye. See you soon.